guys, for tuning in, and welcome back to another episode of Comic Watch Podcast. I know we haven't been around for a while, and we apologize for that. Real life gets in the way, but we are trying to schedule these once more at a more normal consistency so that you guys can listen to us and enjoy all our nerdy discussions and debates on the MCU movies or comics or whatever floats our boat. Maybe it's comic news that happens to be, or just geeky news that we run across. We will be discussing Infinity War today, and I did want to warn the viewers that this will be a spoiler review. So if you have yet to see the movie, first off, what are you doing with your life? You need to go correct that right now. I do suggest that you do see it, obviously. This is a movie, and it is in the MCU, so it is a little different than the comic books. But if you do not want to be subject to spoilers and you have yet to see the movie, we do advise that you hold off on listening to this until that time. Today we're going to be discussing Infinity War movie that came out. It's either, I guess, famous or infamous, depending on your situation and who you were attached to in the movie. So I'm Erin, obviously. I'll be hosting this, and we also have, drum roll.
I'm Tyler.
Hey.
Got Chris here.
Hey, Chris.
And John.
Hey, John.
Get some enthusiasm in here.
Don't forget to check out the X-Minutes podcast as they break down the X-Men movies 1 minute at a time. And Coffee and Comics, our live stream web show that talks about what's new in comics in the industry, which airs on Tuesdays at noon Eastern.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll first talk about our overall impressions of the movie. So let's not get into details, but overall, what did you guys...
What movie are we talking about?
Are you kidding?
John, you don't even know why we're here.
He's just like, I'm just going to show up and pretend.
Are we reviewing Blade 3 right now?
Yes, let's do that.
Sounds like more fun. I'm just introduction.
I said Infinity War, didn't I? I swear I did.
No?
Actually, you know what? When I messaged him, I might not have.
No, you did. You did. I didn't hear her say it.
I could have sworn I said Infinity War in there, but yes.
You did. You did in the intro.
Infinity War.
I'm lost.
Well, no, we're going to talk about the new Thundercats. Everybody gets
all
all fucking
so
pissed. It does. It's so bad. I was just like, what the fuck? But anyways. So what were y'all's impressions of the movie? What'd y'all think? Did you leave the theater shocked, or were you like, what the hell just happened? Some people were
John,
freaking out, genuinely freaking out.
I liked it. I did. There were some things I didn't like about it, which we can maybe address later. I can.
But overall, you liked it.
Oh, all in all, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10, maybe 7.5.
Okay.
I thought it was a pretty good movie. It was visually very, very beautiful. I just felt like some of the characterizations felt off, and at the end, some of the whatever you want to call it, the dustings, felt like just emotional manipulation in a way, because we all know it's gonna get undone in the next movie.
Doesn't matter. That's what draws you in. Come on.
I don't know about
that.
that.
But also little things like where did Banner get the Hulkbuster suit? I know we established in Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 that just any jerk can walk up and hop in the Iron Man suit and fly it, but pretty sure the Hulkbuster suit last time we saw it was in space. So somebody would have had to actively call it down. And
you got satellites.
Just a thought.
What about you, Chris? What did you think?
Overall, I'm with John. Overall, I did like it. I was saying today maybe like a 7 I'd give it. The battle scenes were phenomenal. That's at this point, I'm pretty sure I said this on one of the last podcasts. I'm never gonna get what I want out of these movies. I just want them to look cool. You know,
we'll never be happy.
So hard in the end. I'm never gonna be happy. I'd never get a good X-Men movie. Come on now. Anyway, but Spider-Man just sells it for me. I'm so in love with Tom Holland as his character. It's just so great. So the rest of the movie could have been nothing. I would have come out of there and been like, yes.
Yeah. For me, I would say 9 or a 10 for me. This probably out of all the Marvel movies, out of the entire catalog since everything has started, by far has been the highest in terms of, the story and the build up and how they've interwoven everything for a number of years. So, I mean, for me, it was a 9 or a 10, and they did what DC is unable to do, which is to weave into a movie like a really good plot, really good acting, you know, and of course then they take into account the humor, but then they balance it out like at the end, like what John was saying about, you know, the emotional ramp up of what that looks like, because you have to remember in that bubble, they don't know what's going to happen, even though we do. Maybe we don't know. So that's my interpretation. Erin.
Overall, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Like some people, I have a few nitpicks about it, but I mean, Russo Brothers has successfully turned Captain America into one of the better films out of the whole MCU. So I had a lot of faith that they would do really good here as well, and they didn't disappoint. And the thing that I really like about the Russo brothers is they can juggle a shit ton of characters, and you don't feel exhaustion or you feel nobody's getting enough character development. I mean, they had like, you know, a whole arsenal of characters, and some of them they didn't even touch, but they explained where they were. That made it seem a little fluid to me. Whereas, like, I mean, like, we can all look at Justice League and how poorly handled that was with the character development overall. And they didn't even have half the characters that this movie did.
No.
So, I mean, I know that they've had a whole bunch of movies to build all that stuff up. And there were some things in it that I do agree with John that I didn't really like where they went. But at the same time, I did like Thanos. I think his motive in this film was way better than it was in the comics. I hated it in the comics. I'm like, this is the dumbest motherfucking thing ever. He's doing this for some girl crush, but by doing it the way they did, I actually liked Thanos like a lot. Like I was like, I kind of sympathize with him in some ways. So I think they did a great job of handling Thanos in a way that made him scarier than he was in the comics, because he could calmly rationalize what he was doing versus being like psycho emo man, I guess, like he was in the comics. To me,
they didn't call him the Mad Titan at all.
No, he was very calm and collected, which is, in my opinion, the way I work, a much scarier villain to me if they've thought the shit through.
I kind of disliked making him into like a conservationist. The Infinity Gauntlet can do literally anything. He could double all resources in the universe. He could make every planet twice as big. He could expand the capability of every planet to keep up with everything. He could do literally anything, and his first and only choice is to kill half of everybody. That does not make sense to me.
To me,
Rock Gun.
I have to disagree, because here's the thing: in the comic version versus the movie version, you're saying, you know, he can make anything happen. Literally, the only thing he can't make happen in the comic version is he can't make the Mistress of Death fall in love with him. It's completely against her nature. She doesn't have the capacity for it. And unless he was actually recreating the whole mythos of who she is, which is what he didn't want to do, that's exactly why he does and why he's motivated to do what he wants, what he's actually going to do, which is kill off half the universe to win her love. So in the comic version, or in the movie version rather, I'm not saying that his motivation in the movie was bad, but I didn't feel it was as strong as it was in the comics, in the original Infinity Gauntlet 1991 version. That's just me. But again, I'm a comic book reader, so.
Oh no, I agree with you. I was saying I don't like the switch of it over to the conservation angle.
Yeah.
Because at that point he could do anything. Like, why does he have to kill everyone?
And the reason that I saw it the way I did is they explained the traumatic background of him about what happened to his home world, and so I mean he is still just a person or whatever. I know he's very powerful, but he's not a god, so maybe he didn't think of anything else. I don't know. I don't like the romantic angle sometimes they take, and thank God. I mean, he's not one of those like Loki characters, no offense. I just don't like redeemable villains. I swear to Christ, I'm sick of those. They're everywhere. Like, oh, he was, abused as a kid, so now suddenly he's this guy or whatever, and I can't stand that shit. So, I mean, I don't know. I liked the way that he was a lot more calm in the movie, instead of being the Mad Titan. Right. It did appeal to me in the comics, at least. I just thought, I don't know. It's just kind of a silly reason.
Thing of it is too is he went right in the comics, he went straight to omnipotence pretty quickly. Like the minute the gauntlet came together, boom, he was omnipotent. So he was thinking on that level, whereas in the movie, you're right, he's thinking more on the mortal plane. He's definitely down in our realm still in terms of methodology of thinking. So, I mean, they took a different direction with it, which overall was fine with me, but it is different either way. So it just depends on what you prefer.
And maybe the next one we're getting, which I know they're not calling it Infinity War 2, will have a different Thanos. Maybe he's more like the Mad Titan in the I would assume.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see where he's
I really
going.
want Adam Warlock. Like that's I really want Adam Warlock.
I think they
show up.
introduced him a little
he's
late.
Not going to be.
I know. It sucks.
I know. Be perfect though.
I agree.
I don't know. Did anybody see this movie more than once?
I saw it 2
I've only
times.
seen it once.
Okay, I saw it twice too. The second time, I felt the pacing was a little off. You know, the first time I saw it, I was kind of just waiting for everything to unfold. I was on the edge of my seat. The second time, I felt things got a little slow.
No, you're not
I
alone on
thought
that.
the movie.
I agree.
I thought it slowed down every time Gamora was on the screen.
I think it comes down to Thanos' motivations. I think anytime that really he was sitting there monologuing, you're like, all right, there's like 40 other people in this movie. We'll move along.
Yeah. Well, like when he killed Gamora, as soon as Red Skull said you're gonna have to kill something you love, it was like 5 minutes. 5 minutes of him going, "Oh, around here do I love?" And like it sounded like there was gonna be something there that he was gonna get rid of. Like, I really like this keychain.
Taunting. It seemed out of character for her to be like, "You don't love anything." Ha ha ha. I don't know. I didn't like.
Even I would have been like, "Oh shit, I'm fucked." You know, I'd start running or something.
I felt these characters were handled pretty poorly, except for Rocket. He was in character.
I agree with that totally. Like the Guardians characters. Yeah, I mean, the whole weaving them into it. Like I think out of all of it, they were the weakest link. I thought that they could have pulled in some of the other franchise characters just for like the appearance sake. Like I was like, could I just get a Ghost Rider in here? Like CGI, not Nicolas
Oh, I
Cage.
know. I agree.
No,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or
no.
even Defenders,
So-
that would have been the perfect moment.
Yeah,
Just even have a 2-second glance at them.
Exactly. So, I mean, that would have been fun. But, I mean, it didn't happen. But still, I thought the Guardians were kind of... The whole Gamora thing, and she is, like, again, interwoven in the comics, but that, that could have been paced a little bit better. But overall, the second time that I saw it, I still felt that the pacing was pretty good.
Me and a friend were just talking today about how it's weird because at its heart, if anything, it's more of a Guardians of the Galaxy movie than an Avengers movie. You know, most of it takes place in space and it's ramifications of stuff that happened in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the Guardians of the Galaxy, like you guys said, are some of the weakest characters in the movie. And that is just, although I will say Drax, when he did the I'm standing so still that I become invisible, that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
I also really like the hero worship of Thor. No, he is a man. You are a dude. Or whatever. You're a dude, he's a man. That was pretty good. Yeah.
Thor in this movie just
he got
overall
fat
was
shamed.
incredible.
Can we take a moment to recognize the fat shaming that happened in a Marvel movie? What's up with that?
He said, he's strong, you're chubby, or something.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Freaking Drax. Can't all be big time wrestlers
Can't all be Dave Bautista, yeah.
walking around shirtless all day.
But I don't know. They did peg some cool stuff. Like Teenage Groot, I thought overall was a worthless waste of screen time. But the handle making was like he stepped up, made the handle for Stormbreaker. I was like, hell yeah! I wanted to stand up in the theater. That moment really got me.
I agree.
I
agree with Groot, the whole Groot thing, except so as I'm sitting there in the theater with my husband and friends and everything, I'm sitting there and then I watch like all these families come in and there's like, mom, dad, teenager, and then like 5-year-old, 2-year-old, infant. No, oh boy.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of that.
Yeah. And so the point, I guess, is that for us, group probably was like, all right, we've been down this road and like, the whole I'm Groot thing is cute, but like it's essential because they knew that element was going to be coming in terms of that audience, and they had to have him in there they very much tried to make it so that it was accessible to everybody who went and watched it.
Groot's Marvel's Ewoks.
Kind of, yeah. Yes.
He's the Porg.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Although you gotta wonder, like, I feel so bad for the parents that took the young kids thinking it was gonna be friggin' amazing, or
I know.
Spider-Man
I said it the second
Homecoming
time.
2.
I was like, these kids are gonna
like,
cry.
Oh
like,
my god.
Mom, why is Spider-Man dying? God, it made me feel pain inside. I can't imagine how like a 7-year-old must feel.
That was
laughed.
the only moment in this movie that actually made me emotional.
Yeah, same.
But I'll go again.
Alright.
This is back to what you were talking about originally. The fact that we know there's another movie coming, and the fact that we know multiple characters have sequels, it just makes it so much cheaper when we see them die, quote unquote.
You got to remember though that's the bubble. Like what's the
I know, but it's just I don't know. It's
What's
the
the-
feeling it gives you.
what would the Titanic be without like the heart in the ocean and like, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio sitting there freezing to death? Like, you know, nobody's really dying, but I don't know. Like,
Because
they-
Leo DiCaprio did die.
I think the only thing I
Totally.
found funny about the whole thing is I have watched so many YouTube videos of people like speculating who's gonna die, and I'm sure Marvel's over there like, "Fuck all you people! We're just gonna kill everyone that you didn't think was gonna get killed." Because literally, like everybody you didn't suspect would die, pretty much kicked it.
Exactly, and they left almost the entirety of the old guard plus like Rhodey and Rocket. And
Well, see, that's why part of me
wait a
wonders if they when they undo this, if they're gonna like flip it where like the old people die. Because like I noticed that I was like, all the originals are still around. So are they gonna?
From
I don't know. Because some people I think
everybody
want to
who
exit.
disappeared was phase 2 onward.
Yeah.
Except the only phase 2 and onward people who didn't disappear were Nebula and Rocket. Everybody else, the entire Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Bucky,
Nebula.
everybody. Nebula's Thanos' other daughter.
Oh no, I forgot that she didn't disappear.
That's why I
Which-
feel like when
which
they
also
undo the
opens
next
us up
movie, they're
to
gonna flip it
My
around.
dream for Guardians of the Galaxy #3 as Nebula, Rocket, and Tony going across the galaxy looking for Thanos with
I'd
just
be
like
into that.
tech and guns, like
I'd
just
be into that.
shoot them up. Yeah, right. They're all huge tech-based gun-toting monsters.
I mean, I was like, my whole thing is like the whole death, the concept of death, and like the phase. I think John said what, phase 3 or phase 4. Like I was fine with it because in that context, if you're actually in that context, if you're in the movie, if you're that person, they don't know that they're having another movie. So like, even though we know that, we would really know like Spider-Man's never going to die, but who are they going to actually kill off besides Quicksilver? Like, who?
Yeah, that is the only Marvel death that's stuck for a hero, isn't it?
Well,
Isn't there
wait,
rumors?
There's
Wow.
one other. There's one other. Scarlet Witch's accent.
oh
Yeah.
yes, that's true.
You know what? I did
That
not
is
know-
true.
I
I'm
did
so
not
happy.
know she's the Olsen twins' younger sister. I just found that out today.
But you're right, the accent did die. The
It did,
accent.
thankfully.
And Quicksilver, P.S., supposed to be
Also
on
died?
this. Well, it's also died, but apparently is on the set of Avengers 4. So
I know. Ew.
You think he ran into the Speed Force?
what?
Yeah.
Don't
What are you? Are you
No.
gonna defend Aaron Taylor Johnson?
He's so much better than Dweeby McDweeberson.
Oh, Tyler.
He's
what?
Evan
terrible.
Peterson.
No way.
Yeah. Thank you. I couldn't even get his name. He's so
No.
that kid. No,
That's evil.
no.
He was on American Horror Story. That's why I know.
He was fine. Yeah, I mean, he was fine on American Horror Story, but and I can't even remember his name. I don't remember anybody's name. That's fine. Who are you people? But
Evan Peters.
yeah,
Peters.
the whole really well played, great actor, fine. But this,
He was more
The-
Quicksilver in the Avengers. I hate
Yes.
that guy. I thought he was terrible.
I think he totally pulled off. But he's the closest to the comic version in every way, personality wise. Like the comic version he's
Okay.
arrogant. The comic version guy is totally like full of himself because everybody else is slow around him, even in terms of mental capacity. So
Evan Peters had that part down.
I don't know.
Oh,
I think
Quicksilver's
his introduction
not-
guy. Anyway, wrong movie.
Well, it's still relevant considering that he's probably coming back, but still, anyway.
I know. But we're all X-Men
I
dorks.
digress.
We're gonna wind up talking about X-Men for 3 hours.
How'd you guys like the Black Order?
Hmm.
I don't
Nah.
have
didn't
any
like-
comic knowledge of them really.
I do because I'm obsessed. I love No Surrender. I wanted Black Swan, and I was so pissed we didn't
I
get
was
Black Swan.
disappointed. I only liked
movie.
Ebony Maw, and that's because he only got the most screen time. The rest of them were forgettable.
Ebony Maw, though, he's not telekinetic. Why'd they make him telekinetic? That was just bullshit.
I
And then
don't
they
know.
threw him out of a spaceship. Like he was some kind. All the Black Order went down like little friggin' wusses.
They went very quick. It was like that first Ghost Rider movie.
Rocket Midnight was getting beat up by Black Widow. That is nonsense.
Yeah,
Sure.
but that was actually one of the high points of the movie was to see Black Widow and Okoye and Scarlet Witch fighting together. I thought that was cool.
What is
Yeah.
really? What is Black Widow actually going to do by herself? I mean, come on.
Nothing.
But she
I
did.
feel
She
that all the
fought
time.
Proxima Midnight at the beginning and actually held her own against Proxima Midnight, who should be able to like effortlessly backhand Black Widow across the room without
Thank
thinking
you.
about it.
Suspension of disbelief.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I liked him. I mean, I thought that they served their purpose. And besides, you have to remember they have to get. How long was the movie? Does anybody know what the length, like the runtime was? I'll have to look.
That was like 2 hours and 40.
I think 240. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can only you were squeezing a lot into 2 hours and 40 minutes here.
I agree. I just
Yeah.
wish it was a little more development. At least not
And
Yeah.
like who was the
Which
dude that
there
even
is some-
died? Like I don't even know. I learned his name. He just was like there. I think somebody stabbed him, and he never saw him again, and so it was assumed he died.
which one?
You talking about
I
the
don't
one with
know.
the spear?
Yeah, it was
Corvus
this.
Glaive.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, that was like literally
not-
we're in it for like 2 seconds.
Not talking about Squidward. We're talking about that's I can't ever.
Well, Squidward was Ebony Maw, right?
Right.
Yes.
No, yeah. I get backwards on
It was
that.
the one
Yeah,
where, you know, they came after Wanda and Vision and Black Widow and Captain America show up and it's
Yeah, that was the guy in the spear and Proxima.
I mean, obviously he's so memorable that I don't even know his name, but
They got like no time. We spent more time with Peter Dinklage than with them.
yeah.
Mhm.
Let's talk
Never
about
more
the
time.
internet being in an uproar over the fact that Loki died within like the first 5 minutes over the stupidest reason. Like, I was
Easy.
laughing a little bit over that when he died. I was like, that's it. That's it. Oh, okay.
It didn't bother me.
I didn't care. I just was kind of like, y'all did him fucking wrong, man. I'm like, Loki, you're a trickster. Like, you have all these magic powers and you're going to stab him with a knife? Like,
But the world out there, obviously in the news world, from what we do, is that he's also back on the set of Avengers 4 too, which either means that he gets resurrected or that he actually never died. He did do something in order
I
to get
hope
out of
he died,
out of
because-
Thanos' line of sight.
that's some lame fucking shit if they pull that card
Like,
again.
Who knows? Parallel universe shit. Who knows what we're gonna get?
Yeah, I didn't care
Calling
for any of the black.
Rocket Rabbit the whole time. That was pretty funny.
That was cute. I loved the eye thing, how he
The
got his
rabbit.
eye.
I like
That was
you, rabbit.
hilarious. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
why
thought
are you
they
putting
gave
that
him
in your
four
head,
eyes
man?
with
You
a
don't know where
cop
that
out.
shit's
Why
been.
did they do that?
I don't know. I thought it was too. I mean,
I like the symbolism of him looking like Odin, having one eye, like got through trials and tribulations, and suffering to a point.
mm-hmm.
But now he just has a crutch. Awesome. I didn't like that.
Agreed.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about it either. The whole rabbit thing. I mean, the dynamic that was building between Thor and Rocket was. I mean, that was cool.
I enjoyed that
thought.
part. Yeah. I did like their camaraderie. Captain, I'm the captain.
I hated the Hulk in this whole thing. He was such a waste
did
of
too.
space. I'm like, why are you
Worthless.
even here? Like, just go away.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Like, I feel like they're trying to do something with it, but
I've always hated
they
the
really
Hulk,
need to
and
do
I
something
really hated
awesome
him
to
this
make it
time.
work.
Here's the thing. They're gonna obviously hold off on using the Hulk and make him some sort of a like proper counter in their point of view in Avengers 4, probably. But
Oh,
I
he's
mean,
gonna
again,
be a Deus Ex Machina.
yeah, exactly. They,
I don't want
I
that.
think you could probably you could argue that, but like the thing of it is they're gonna, of course we see where this is going, where he's going to become a factor. But at the end of the day, you remember you've got the Infinity Gauntlets, so it doesn't matter whether you.
They're gonna split. Gray Hulk.
Oh God, please no.
Fucking all of a sudden, the Hulk solo movie is Mr. Fix It.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would watch that.
I would too.
I wish they'd
I'm looking
introduce
up-
other characters. I would love like a She-Hulk. I've loved She-Hulk
Yeah.
forever. Plus, she's not, a raging moron when she's green, so that's nice.
Right.
Well, she is now.
I want to see.
Yeah, well, they kind of ruined her.
I want to see what's her name, Patricia, written off of Jessica Jones, turned into a real Hellcat and a cinematic She-Hulk Hellcat movie. That's
Fuck
what I
yeah,
want.
that would be amazing.
That would be.
All right, well, Jen had to step away for a little bit, but we're going to continue the discussion here about Infinity War, what we liked, what we didn't like. I think we've kind of run the gamut a little bit as far as trashing Guardians of the Galaxy and how they awkwardly.
So there will be more.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they do it with the second half. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I was happy with Thanos, and I didn't even mind the Gamora angle because I didn't like the Lady Death. I was a little disappointed. I was in that crowd that I kind of wished Hela stuck around. I'm hoping she's not dead. What I would have really liked at that end scene when it had baby Gamora, basically, that would have been a perfect place to put Lady Death. I was like, dude, you missed an opportunity there.
Right.
Did you guys think that Red Skull was Lady Death when we first saw him from behind?
No, I just didn't think it was gonna be Red Skull.
I didn't. Right. I didn't either. But it would be actually really smart for them to transpose the Mistress of Death with Kate Blanchett, the Lady Death from Thor, obviously Hela. But you know what? The only thing that irritated me, or not irritated me, but I was kind of like, now we're stretching a little bit. Scarlet Witch, and her destroying the Mind Stone, on like her actually having that type of power, was kind of weird to me. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
But why was it weird?
Well, it was just weird because number one, they have yet, and they're probably doing it on purpose, but they've yet to actually define how her powers actually work in the movies, like as opposed to, like it's real clear in the comics. But like, she originally started as being able to manipulate probabilities and hexes to chaos magic to. I mean, they've revamped it so many times. Her having access to the live stream or the life force, but now in the comics is just sort of like this unnamed ability, and her actually having the power to destroy an Infinity Stone seems like a stretch to me.
I agree. I don't think anybody
as a
knows what
comics
to do with her.
fan, This is the woman who just said no more mutants and ruined comic books for me.
She did, but it agreed, but she did that as having the ability to actually do so, whereas in the movies, if you go from one Avengers film to the next, she has like some mild telepathy ability where she can manipulate people. It's just really her power set is really sloppy. So I just really thought that her having the ability to crush an Infinity Stone. I mean, I think the Gauntlet story is really critical to remember here. Like, these are Infinity Stones, the power of infinity. And for her to be able to destroy one of those is like, because in the comics, she lasted a hot 2 seconds. she and Cyclops were going at it on Thanos, and she lasted like a minute, not even.
I do agree. They don't know what to do with her.
Yeah, she was pre-House of M Wanda, but still.
Yeah, I have a problem with that power set too. Just do whatever you can.
Right. Like all of a sudden she's going to be like the Jean Grey of the Avengers or something. I don't know.
But that's why, that's why when something like that happens, I can see what you're saying for the casual moviegoer. But as the muddied waters of a comic book reader, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
sure.
I know.
I
know.
just
You have to let some of it go. Yeah, I agree. But no, that was one of the things that really, the whole Envision kind of was just useless the whole time.
Yeah. The worst Paul Bettany performance I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was terrible.
This is the man who played Hauser.
I don't know. I thought the interaction between, I thought Mantis actually was really well used.
She was great.
for a relatively new character.
Mm-hmm. I do agree.
I don't know. I thought she was like her whole kind of like her eyes are like bulging out the whole time. She's just kind of like, what the fuck is going on? I thought she was
adorable.
Really
I liked the interactions between. I mean, like I know people were teasing about the two Sherlock characters, but I really liked how much Strange and Iron Man fucking hated each other. That was great. I loved the egos in the room between the two of them. Thought they did that very well.
Speaking of Strange, I thought the best, like, so they have, what are your fight scenes, right? And when you're thinking about the fight scenes in the Infinity War, Erin, what was your favorite scene? Can you remember which, like, a particular moment?
It was probably split between what Chris has already mentioned, which was the three chicks fighting together. That was amazing. And then I liked Thor's entrance. I mean, I kind of don't like where they've gone with his powers, but at the same time, that was fucking amazing. Those were probably my two favorites. Last that also ranked up there was when Proxima Midnight threw that staff and Captain America caught it. I was like, oh yeah, there's my boy.
Cap's great. Yeah.
Chris, what about you?
For me, it was magic, more magic. Spider-Man just like fighting and getting teleported by Doctor Strange. Oh my god, I loved it. Like he thrilled me. He was so the high point for me.
It's pretty interesting that Spider-Man takes down who he takes down, right? Like of all of the different, when they're all interacting and fighting, and he's one of the weakest in terms of, ability levels. And didn't he take down Squidward? Isn't that what happened?
He did with his aliens reference, which was hilarious. I loved that.
They blew a hole in, and then he caught Doctor Strange.
Right. Exactly. I think probably my favorite fight scene was Strange going solo on Thanos.
That was nice.
That was cool.
That was
got a brief little Crimson Bands of Cyttorak action.
Yeah. Well, I think I still I get like goosebumps thinking about this, but like literally the scene, the particular moment where all of a sudden like he duplicates himself into like all these different copies around him and uses
that spell.
Yeah, and uses the bands like that was incredible. That I thought was like such a visually stunning moment in the movie. And again, something where, he held on for a hot minute, probably longer than anybody else did, especially going solo with him.
Agreed. I do like Strange. I think he's a pretty good guy in the comics, and in the I think Benedict does a really good job with him. I know some people were mad where, like, I guess Star-Lord, I hated Star-Lord in this whole thing. I don't know why. He just annoyed the shit out of me.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was awful. Yeah. I was just like, you're such an insecure moron. Like, dude, stop. Just fucking stop, please.
Yeah.
Vagina's showing. Seriously.
Get my friend Colby's impersonation of him. He does, like, early 90s references as Star-Lord, and he's always constantly going, like, waka waka. It's perfect.
Yeah. The whole Star-Lord thing, like, your plan sucks. Mine doesn't.
Yeah, that was so annoying. I was just like, shut up.
Yeah, it was getting, but again, with all those, with that sort of like diversified age range, I mean, that's what Guardians plays to. But can we talk about the actual purpose between Pepper being in like any part of this movie, Gwyneth Paltrow, like what, like at the very beginning, just being like, you got to go fight again, right? All right.
Well, I even got annoyed when she was just like, you need to come home right now. I'm like, bitch, do you not see the thing in the sky? Like, let him go deal with that, okay? Like, dude, who cares if he kills thousands of people? You better be home for dinner by 5. I'm just like, listen. I don't like Pepper. She needs to just disappear and just be mentioned in the background, if you ask me.
Well, like Jane. Character any favors?
Like who?
What was that?
I said like Jane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ruined that. I'm like, you should have cast somebody that would have stuck around. I mean, Natalie Portman was all right, but they kind of fucked the Jane character up from the beginning, making her that scientist instead of what she was in the comics, in my opinion. Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. Gwyneth Paltrow, I just don't think has done that character any justice, and obviously the importance of the characters to balance out, Tony Stark in terms of his humanity, but she just makes it come off so unappealing. Like she just, I think she almost said in one interview at one point that she wasn't really even interested in doing the films anymore. So just maybe she's fulfilling the rest of her contract deal or something. I don't know, but I don't know. I was like, is there a purpose to her being here? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't care for her either.
So, and again,
strictly for the you want to make the parallels for Tony where he is in life and Spider-Man dying in the end. That's the only reason he's there.
Can we just talk about that death scene? Like I did.
Oh, I
First
cried.
of all, didn't cry, but and I'm okay with admitting this. I got a little. I felt it in the chest a little bit. And that's what I think was the brilliance of the movie in and of itself. I mean, if you're being really serious, and again, we're comparing this in some ways, to DC, and we're comparing it to Justice League and the fail that is Justice League. Well, I mean, we reference it enough to say, here's what's right, here's what's wrong. But like with that moment with Iron Man like holding Spider-Man and like just I don't know. I mean, not Tom Hiddleston. What's his name? Tom Holland. Yeah, him just sort of like looking at him and being like,
I'm not ready to go, Mr. Stark.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and Robert Downey just sort of like knowing he can't do anything was just. I thought it was amazing.
Earlier in the movie, this is your fault. I'm here, and Tony Stark looks at him dead serious and says, "Don't say that."
Yeah, he did.
And then here we are.
He totally did. And so, and
this
then
is
again,
why we have Pepper, though.
And we're looking at so I keep mentioning like all the different age ranges in the theater, and I just hear. Then I hear like 7 of them start in, and I'm like, oh God, this makes my little black heart beat just a little bit. But
not me. I'd be crying with them. Like I wouldn't have been crying, and then as soon as the kids started crying, I'm like, oh God, they're right.
But I kind of knew at the beginning of the movie, like, I had a feeling like this is where they were going to go with it. Like they were going to do some big shocking thing. And most people were, especially on social media, most people were just being like, is it one person that's going to die? And then they were trying to like speculate as to, who's the one person that's going to die and not like half the cast. So
this is what I mean, though. It takes the power away. Like normally I'm a sap. I will cry at movies. No problem. When Spider-Man died, I felt the choke up because, how can you not with that scene that he gave us?
Yeah.
But I did not actually shed a tear. I'm like, there's Spider-Man 2 coming. I know that he's not dead. It just took the power away.
Yeah, I get that.
That's how I feel about it. That's why I say
I get that. If you're caught in the moment of it, yeah. I mean, I think it's just the perspective of it for me. But
yeah.
And as always, like Scarlett Johansson as a Black Widow is great, but I kind of felt like she was a footnote.
She was, definitely.
Well, but so was Cap, if you look at it like that.
Yeah.
He had a couple of good hero moments, but it just wasn't his movie.
No,
I bet you they'll be integral in the next one.
Probably.
But Chris Evans in that beard, man. Love that shit.
Yeah. The Shield, though. Let's talk about the Shield.
I was all right with it.
I don't know.
It was battle. That's just like straight aggression. He's just got these hard things on his hands, and he's going to protect himself and kill you. That made perfect sense to me. Look at the way he fights.
Yeah. In the comics, I remember he, when he fought Thanos, Thanos just smacks the vibranium shield and then backhands it away in like pieces. And I just wanted that moment, but I wanted it to be the actual traditional shield for me. But
that would have been cool and iconic. Thanos had the power to shatter a vibranium shield. There's no way Cap ever could have caught that strike.
Yeah.
He would have fucking crushed him.
That's true. I did like the little small scene we got where him and Black Panther were keeping pace with each other. That was pretty cool. when they're running. I was like,
Oh yeah,
how
I
much
would've liked
faster they
more
were than
Black
everybody
Panther.
else.
yeah. How do you think? I mean, the whole Wakanda thing. I think they were definitely riding on that from like going into Infinity War. If they had planned on knowing that Black Panther was going to do as well as it, so they rode very comfortably right into Infinity War with Wakanda being like, a major,
Set.
yeah, a major player in this, as opposed to him not being involved in the comics at all.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense though. I mean, Disney's smart.
They are
Paul
smart.
Feig is smart. We just need a Shuri movie though. Just give me Shuri all the time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she was amazing. I even loved how she outsmarted Bruce and Tony in that scene. She's like,
Yeah.
"Dumbasses, why didn't you do this?" And they're like, "Well."
She's like, you're
She
simple.
did. She totally did. I'm surprised she didn't die when they came through the door, but
I would have revolted if they fucking killed Shuri. I would have been
Yeah.
done with the Marvel universe. Just done with it.
yeah.
I wasn't
So-
that moved when, I guess towards the end. I mean, it was shocking. Like you guys were saying, like Peter was the only one that really got to me. The other ones, I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks. But none of them. I mean, Black Panther shocked me a little bit just because he's so new. He's the newest character, and then they're just
And
like, forget
so
him.
popular.
Yes. So that one
They would've,
shocked me a little bit.
re-edited. Like, no, you know what? We're gonna keep him. We're gonna keep him.
Yeah. But I don't know, like the mass death stuff. It was okay. I think the only one that really got to me was the Peter scene, though. That was really, really well done. And I hear this could be wrong, but I mean, I heard that like a lot of that scene was they
Improv.
yeah, like I think it was like one line, but then all the rest of it was improv on the spot. And man,
I read that too.
they did
That's my man.
fucking awesome.
Love him.
Yeah, I had read that too. So I guess right for Avengers 4. Well, so let's talk about this. So Ant-Man was not in the movie at all.
Yeah, he's
But
supposed to be
I
on
have-
house
I have a
arrest.
theory. I have a theory. He's in the quantum realm right. The events of Ant-Man and the Wasp take place before Infinity War.
Yeah.
So I bet you like the climax of Ant-Man and the Wasp overlaps the time of the
Right.
half the people disappearing. And that's why they're not disappearing, because they're in another dimension.
I agree.
That
I
makes
think they're going to
sense.
come back in A4. They're just going to bring in like, I mean, everything that they can, anything relevant within the past 10 years. But like, we can't obviously like not talk about the very end of the movie and who shows up, which is the introduction
Mother.
of Captain Marvel.
That's
Hell
kind
yeah.
of why I think where I was like, this was a good movie, but it didn't have the emotional resonance that it could have, because, I mean, we all know Captain Marvel's set in the 90s, so you're like, okay, great, they're going to do, like, most of this. And like you were saying, that, these guys have movies coming. I think it was just, for me, it was more of like a snickering over all the YouTube video people made that, like, oh, they're not going to die. Yeah, they fucking died, but for like half a year maybe or whatever, but still. I mean, I still liked. I was very happy that we got Scarlet Witch and Vision. That was. I've read the old Year in the Life of them. I've read a lot of their old comics and a lot of the Scarlet Witch comics. So I'm glad that we got that. I mean, I've had problems with her too. I mean, even the comics don't know what to do with Scarlet Witch. I mean, I've read it where they had her solo title. She was an actual witch, and she worked with like different gods and stuff, and then she's a mutant, and then she has chaos power, then she doesn't. So they don't know what the fuck to do with Wanda. They never have known.
No.
So I mean, I kind of expected that. She's like the catch-all character. Nobody knows what to do with her, so it's kind of like her norm. But at least we got that. I did like Vision at least for that. But that was his only point in the whole movie. And like you said, he was a badass in like one of the other Avengers movie, and yet he's just this like bitchy girlfriend of Wanda now, so I don't know what happened to him, but I am at least happy we got their relationship established. That was nice.
I still I know that Captain Marvel is set, is going to be set in the 90s or whatever, but I think that it's really time for there was Wonder Woman for DC, kind of like that breakthrough moment, and how well that movie did. And Marvel really doesn't have the equivalent of that in terms of like a lead female. And I like how they're really trying to they're trying to launch into that
Mm-hmm.
and using her to do it. And also too, I think it's a proper counter to Superman in a way. Like I feel like they're kind of pushing her to be, like the Marvel's equivalent or answer to Superman. And also so her coming into Avengers 4 is going to be really cool.
Agreed. I can't wait to see it. It's gonna be great. You know what my prediction is? First scene of Avengers 4. Fucking Hawkeye at like dinner with his family. Whole family disappears. He rages out.
Yeah.
Opening title card.
Isn't he supposed
We'll
to
see
be?
him
I
half
could have
hour later.
sworn I read about him being in his Ronin outfit at some point on some set somewhere. So I was wondering if we were ever going to get that, or was that just bogus? I could have sworn I
don't know.
remember
I read
reading
something
about
like
it.
too.
And I was like, where the fuck? What happened? Are they saving that for the next movie?
That's what I mean. Like his family's gonna die and he's gonna go Ronin.
I
Could
would like
be.
that.
I want to see. Because listen, I agree with the whole Hawkeye's useless thing, but I can identify with that. I like Hawkeye. I think Jeremy Renner is charming. I think he does a good job. I enjoy seeing him. I actually did miss him in this movie.
I did
Do
too.
I think he should be a lead character? No, but he should be there.
I agree.
He's a great support.
He's exceptional. He plays the role exceptionally well. So, I mean,
You mean the actor or Hawkeye within the Avengers?
oh, the actor. Are you kidding?
Yes. He does.
And I forget.
Well, but I think the Hawkeye does as well. Like, even though there's all these talented people and people who can fly and shit, Hawkeye is going to be the one up there actually seeing what's going on and going to be able to tell you.
Right. I would agree. And I forget who plays Hawkeye in the.
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner. Thank you. I think he does exceptionally well, and I think that he makes the character really relatable and able to stand with the rest of the cast. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's possible we'll see him in A4. So, here's the thing, I guess, and say, what do you think are the major things or things that you think will happen in Avengers 4 with this whole thing coming full circle?
Oof. I don't want to say. All I will say is this: I highly anticipate seeing Spider-Man again.
Okay.
That's all I've got. I won't say. I don't want to be bored. I want it to look amazing. What I want.
Okay. Fair enough.
I haven't read a lot of the Avengers or the Infinity Gauntlet comics. I've read a few of them and a little bit of Captain Marvel. She's been on my watch list for a while because we had that amazing female writer write the newer versions of the
Yes.
Captain Marvel, and she's gotten tons of
Are you
awards.
talking about Kelly Sue DeConnick?
Yes, and
He's actually my favorite author.
see, I want to read her stuff. I just, we were talking earlier about the pull list problems. I have to wait till I get through all my lists before I go there.
Go
but
read. When you do, though, pretty deadly.
I'll have to try that then. It's just, obviously Captain Marvel plays a big thing. It's set in the 90s, so they're going to do something about changing the past, or I don't know. Obviously, somehow time travel's involved.
Is it a time beeper or a space beeper?
I don't know. You see, that's the thing, you don't really know. But only thing I'm basing this off of is the time frame that the movie's sent in. So maybe, like you said, it's going to be like a Secret Invasion type movie or something, and then Captain Marvel's off doing something, and he calls her back in present day. In a perfect world, I know that we're wanting to phase out some of the older actors because their contracts are up, even though.
Yeah.
And that's why I wonder, that's why when I was looking at like what you guys were saying, that like all of phase 2 and past were erased. So maybe they undo it, but not completely undo it, and they kill the originals and leave the phase 2 people around. So that's kind of where I see them going with it, because it's to that point that they need to retire the guys and bring in new folks, in my opinion. Maybe not all of them, because we're missing a Riri, we're missing like a Jane or somebody that would take for Thor's place, or we've got the Captain America legacy character around, but it'd be nice to at least have some of them go and let the other guys.
Maybe we'll get Beta Ray Bill. We've got Stormbreaker.
Oh my God!
I know.
Thor?
Well, just something. Hey.
Who's the Frog Thor? Let's just bring him in.
Throg.
I love Throg. Back off of my Throg, okay?
I was close enough.
Yeah, thanks to him,
remember.
Danny's a Valkyrie.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
He brought them to Asgard.
He
That's
saves
true.
Mighty Thor's ass at one point in the comics. She loses track of her
I
hammer,
didn't
and a
know.
building falls on her, and she's turning back into immortal. And then here comes Strong. He's like, "You need this, I think," and he gives her the hammer.
That's awesome.
So she basically saved her life. So I love The Rock. I think he's adorable. But I mean, that's kind of my overall idea what they're going to do with it. But who knows? I mean, honestly, I mean, obviously we still got Ant-Man. We haven't figured out yet because I don't
Yeah.
think other than Marvel and Ant-Man, is that it before the next Avenger movie?
Well, for 2018, and Venom.
Ugh, God,
But-
don't even get me started on that piece of shit. I don't like it.
Stop
It looks bad. It looks so bad.
I don't like his voice. He sounds weird.
I'm just so tired of them. Like, I give them credit. They're trying to make it a little more serious, but God, the freaking CGI looks so bad.
I don't care. Tom Hardy can you play whatever you want. You just
Hey, now I agree with
Tom,
you.
His voice is weird.
I agree with you on Tom Hardy. I mean, they could literally make a movie of him eating a sandwich, and I would watch it. But I'm just saying, I just don't like what they've been doing with the
driving.
with I don't know, Venom. They've been fucking up for a long time though. Like they make him so much like Deadpool now, and I'm like, come on, man. He's actually supposed to be terrifying. And they kind of are going there. It's just the CGI is so bad.
I don't think it's going to be any. I don't think it's going to be close to Deadpool. Like fourth wall breaking stuff. Nah,
Well, it's just they've
but, like,
made him such a
definitely-
jokester. The Venom characters in the comics, they're like real kitschy.
Oh,
and
now,
I fucking can't
yeah.
stand that.
But it's not Eddie though, right?
It is Eddie.
Yep.
Eddie's back in Venom, and he's
Yep.
fucking a
He was in the
trickster?
last one of
Come on,
the
that's
last
awful.
X-Men, and Eddie was actually more terrifying than Venom. I was like, what? I think it was one of the X-Men Blue, and then they went off into one of the Venom comics, which I didn't read,
Yeah,
I've
and
got it in
apparently
my
Jean
fucking
dies or
2.5
something.
month
I'm so
box.
confused. I'm like, wait a minute. So now teen Jean died, so I guess the older Jean can be around? I don't know. I'm going to get us off on a tangent, but
She's
yeah.
no.
what the
Yeah,
hell are
she's
they
alive.
doing? I'm like, what is going on?
She's alive. She took out the rest of the whatchamacallums. I forget now. But anyway, no, Tom Hardy's awesome in Taboo. I think he's going to do a great job on Venom. But that you were asking, like, what's other than Ant-Man and Captain Marvel, what's after
Yeah.
that? So I don't know. I think that too bad that he won't be in the Infinity. Maybe he will. Maybe we don't know. Maybe that's the whole point of Avengers 4 is to reset. I guess my guess to everything, as opposed to Chris, who doesn't want to like speculate too much. I will speculate away, but I think that Avengers 4 is going to be a hard reset. Like they're just going to slam that button, and at some point, everybody's going to come back. But I agree with you. I think that it's going to include cast changes, same characters, but cast changes. So you can't not have Captain America. You can't not have Iron Man. So if those contracts are up, they don't re-sign. They're going to assign new.
That's a really
actors to those
actually
roles.
badass idea. Where they just say
Yeah,
like,
I
"Oh,
think
here's
it's-
Steve," and then like somebody you don't even know walks on screen.
Exactly.
That would be awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's one way they're going to do it. I definitely think that I said it in the very, very beginning, but I'll say it again. I think that Quicksilver is coming back, which I think is awesome. And I think that Loki will be back. Again, if it's Tom again, I don't know, but contract is up, so we'll see. If the Fox deal goes through without being impeded by Comcast, this will also be the perfect opportunity for them to hit that hard reset, and you now have a fully assembled Marvel universe with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, etc., etc. So that's my guess. If it comes through. Then again, if Comcast does end up buying it, which we don't know yet, Marvel Studios still has the ability to opt in and buy certain parts because the deal is much larger than just the MCU. It involves Fox Sports and all other sorts of stuff. So
But from my understanding, as far as the deal going through, it would probably be after the release of the movie.
Mm, it depends on how
They were
fast the antitrust goes through.
yeah. From I don't know. I'm just referring to like the last article I read. They were like theorizing the summer or something like that, and this one's coming out in May.
Yeah. No, well, and then the other thing too is they have the X-Men films planned out till what, 2021 or something like that. But then you saw how fast that they shifted New Mutants back. Like now it's coming out in
And
2019.
Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both got
I mean,
pushed.
there's a purpose behind this. We don't know exactly what yet. It maybe test audiences didn't receive it well or whatever. But that being said, that's my guess as to what's going to happen in Avengers 4. I mean, it could be the inclusion, or it may just they reset the roles with other people. It could be portions of it, could be none of it. I could be completely wrong.
Let's just hope for a good movie, at least as good as this one.
Yeah,
I have
think
faith.
it'll
Like
definitely be
Russo
good.
brothers know
All
what they
its
seem to be
faults, this
doing.
movie was. Yeah, they're really great directors. I miss the Tobias Funke cameo.
Was Stan Lee's cameo in this one?
Yeah, he was the Spider-Man.
That's right. That's right. Yes, that was kind of funny. Not as strong as his other cameos, but still.
Ned made up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
I'm
very excited about the next movie coming out. We'll all have to meet up again when Ant-Man comes out. See if we were right about them being in the.
I'm more excited about seeing Deadpool, which is in theaters right now.
I need to
I'm
get around
not.
to seeing that.
I am.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening in to another episode of Comic Watch Podcast. We'll have this available on YouTube and Facebook shortly. Thank you so much, Tyler and Chris and John, for joining me discussing the Infinity War movie. And I think we're all hopefully anticipating the next Ant-Man and Wasp movie to see where they're going to go with it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're getting some more new characters because I think, Janet's back. Michelle Pfeiffer, they cast. So that'll be neat. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to check out, again, like we mentioned earlier, the X Minutes podcast and the Comics and Coffee that live stream on our Facebook page. All that info will be linked in the YouTube description down below. Thank you guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Thank you again so much to John and Tyler and Chris for participating with me in the Comic Watch podcast reviewing Infinity War. We will have another Comic Watch podcast coming up soon discussing our favorite pull lists that are currently active right now, any upcoming comics that we're interested in, any type of news. And again, if you want to hear something from us or a title that you're interested in, please, by all means, leave us a comment on Facebook, on YouTube, on Google Play. There's multiple places to find us. We really need your input on what you want to hear because we do this for you guys. So if you have any suggestions for us, please leave us a little note and we will make sure to take that into consideration. And hey, you might even get a shout out on the show. So